Okay, you know what? Here's some additional thoughts on Kenny and his play these first 2 weeks. Maybe I was off on preseason. Maybe I thought it mattered more than what it really does. You got to forgive me, though, because you got to understand we haven't paid attention to preseason one time in these last 18 years. What?
Why you gonna dunk on Kenny? Don't dunk on Kenny like
What do you
that,
mean?
man. Don't dunk on Kenny.
No.
Man, what's
Here's
the line, bro?
no.
I'm just
Here's
do that, man.
no. It's the opposite.
Okay.
I'm telling you why week 3 and on is just he's going to continue to get better.
Gotcha. Okay. I was like, dude, we going there. I'm like, wait, Deke, I wasn't ready for you to be
Hell
like
no.
that.
No.
Okay.
No.
We're good.
I'm
We're
spinning
good.
this in a way this is positive for Kenny
All right.
going forward. He will end up being that guy. It's
Thank
just
you. Okay.
you know this. I'm preaching to the choir here, right? Regular season speed, different than practice speed, different than training camp speed, different than practicing on your own type of speed. And the comparison I will use, I am a drummer.
Shout out to the drummers in the world. Y'all know what the
So
time is.
hear me out on this. Drumming on your own, that's one level of all of it.
Yep.
Practicing with your band on the band zone,
Hey,
right?
look, you said practicing with the band. I was gonna say even practicing with the song, just to like the soundtrack by yourself. Yeah.
Sure. But say you get together with your band,
Yep.
practice with your band, right? That's another level. It's still not the main stage just yet.
not.
Even
No.
practicing before the main stage,
It's not.
the people aren't there. You get the setting and whatnot, so that's kind of like preseason. It's not exactly you, lights on, in front of people. How are you going to perform?
Yep.
So once you get to the regular season, that's when it's real. That's when you can actually have the real tape. That's when you can make the real adjustments and become attuned to just what the speed is, how it actually feels. Whereas, all we've got to see from Kenny so far in this offseason was preseason, offseason, him building chemistry with Deontay and stuff. Like, that stuff matters. I think it will matter as time goes on. But for the first 2 weeks in this regular season, him going into year 2, being his 14th and 15th start, we could just say it's early, man. I think there is like a whole tune-up process to this regular season that maybe I discounted for some young players. We're seeing it with Joe Burrow. I mean, here's the other thing too. Like, we did get to see him have success regular season last year, 2022. That was like 8-9 months ago. So like there's a whole cycle to this, and I would expect maybe when Kenny gets into year 3, year 4, year 5, the tune-up process for the start of regular season isn't as slow.
For sure. The tune-up process is legitimate. When you talk about reps,
Him and we got a whole young offense around him too.
So when you talk about reps, in-game reps, there is no substitute for it. You can't fast track it. You have to go out there and endure it. Good, bad, ugly. You got to learn from your mistakes and ultimately minimize those mistakes, expand on what you're good at, and that's how you start to grow and really become a guy in this league. When we talk about the difference between superstars and practice squad players, everybody that puts on the NFL jersey is capable of going out there and being the reason why you win. Legitimately taking over a game. Everybody has that type of ability at this level. The difference is the consistency. The difference is who are you going to be able to rely upon doing it every single week. Think TJ Watt. TJ does it every single week. Now, is TJ just, oh my God, way further athletic than Melvin Ingram, than Nick Herbig, than Bud Dupree, than Jarvis Jones? No. They're all very close and similar in terms of height, speed, strength, agility. The difference is the consistency. What TJ is able to do on a play-in and play-out basis is what separates him. So even though we can all say, well, they're draft picks, or they were first-rounders, or they played outside linebacker for the Steelers, they got a lot of similarities, but the consistency in the little details is what separates them. So when I think of Kenny right now, I'm like, man, I remember, we did put different comparisons, right? Joe Burrow this, or Josh Allen that, or this guy did that and that and that, and that's fine. Difference is those guys.
I'm not backing down.
I never said you were.
It's gonna play out.
That's cool. But the difference is this: those dudes are a lot more consistent with what they've shown. Whereas for Kenny, you can question, has he ever shown to that level? But you can definitely make the hard case that has nowhere been to the consistency of either one of those type of dudes, or what we deem a top 10 quarterback. Right now, when we look at Kirk Cousins and Tannehill, you can make a case of their consistency. And that's the part where I'm like, we got to get Kenny at least to there. before we can start getting the next step. But you can't skip that one. Like you said, he ain't even had 17 starts yet.
Yeah, I thought he was there second half of last year. I thought he was. Now, we didn't ask him to throw it 40 times.
Which is a big difference when you look at what those other people were asked to do. So to just compare and say, well, yeah, that is that, they're not the same. And that's the part where we talk about the expectations, putting Kenny in a position where it's like, yo, you're setting him up for failure. Not you specifically. You might be a part of it, but not as hard. But in terms of
he shouldn't be listening to me. I'm being serious. He shouldn't be listening to anything I have to say. He shouldn't be on the internet. Actually, these are my takes. This is what I believe. Like, don't take it and run with it and think you're God's gift to the earth or anything. You got to work hard.
You're supposed to rock like that. You're supposed to work like that. And you're right. Kenny is not supposed to listen. He's supposed to be working like crazy.
And that's who I think he is. He's a hard worker.
But to me, I think that's just the difference. We created this expectation for Kenny, whereas it was top 3, or it's, man, he's able to come out here and be 40-plus throws, control the offense, full autonomy, like 7. It's like, bro, 7 did this thing for how long? It's like, man, he earned the right to have that.
They took him for granted here.
But he earned the right to even have that. Whereas we're trying to just throw that on Kenny. And not everybody, it's a lot of quarterbacks in the league that will never come close to being able to have that type of autonomy. First round is included. But for Kenny, we've seen some production. We just need to see more consistency with it. And I think that would change our perspective of him. But I do feel like the expectations that we keep putting on this dude, that's going to ultimately have us feeling a lot worse about him than we should be. Because the booing, he's terrible, writing him off, time to tank and all that, I don't feel like that's right. I feel like that's very premature. But if you were expecting him to come out here and look like this, and this, and you're seeing what you're seeing, then yeah, that would make 1,000% sense for people to jump off that cliff. But it's like, bro, y'all looked at it the wrong way the whole time, man. Like, if he can get to that, great, but let's get him here first. He's a lot closer to this section than he is to that section, man. At least for now.
So I have high expectations, but I'm also willing to be patient.
Respect. That's a good compromise, bro. I like that.
Yeah. Like, I'll admit, these first 2 weeks were going to be better than what they were. Yeah. But after seeing how everything took place, we talked about the nuance. We talked about the levels. Our O-line is way worse than what I thought it was going to be. Deontay Johnson got hurt.
And we're seeing the lack of Deontay in the impact of that. As much as we say GP's the number 1 receiver, GP's all-world, GP's great, the offense flows differently when Deontay's not out there.
I thought the play calling, the flow would be better. I thought we'd be seeing more of what we saw from the preseason, but I was wrong from that standpoint too. I thought our defense would be better. I mean, I know our defense absolutely balled out, but the run defense has been terrible.